Okay, so each and every day I record what we do and I post it on YouTube and then just link it to Google Classroom, right? So make sure that you are checking that, listening, watching, okay, because everything that goes on the board will be on that recording, okay? And you can follow along. And if we do a lab, I will post the data, or in a lot of cases, a video of the lab. If one good thing that came out of COVID, it was that we basically had to video everything, okay? So now we basically have a video of everything. Okay? So it is possible for you to do a lab even if you weren't here and submit it on time with everybody else. Okay? And that is the expectation. Unless, of course, you've been hospitalized because you're so sick. Exceptions, of course, can be made. Okay? All right, punctuality. We got a new bell schedule. The breaks are really short now. So you best hustle your butt between one class and the next. Okay? If you are late, you will find the door in the closed position. Stay on the other side of it. Okay? I will let you in when it is not a disruption to everyone else, because I typically spend the first 5 to 10 minutes reviewing stuff, okay? And I don't want to be interrupted. Right? If you are out there, okay, you don't knock, you don't make faces at me through the window or anyone else, okay? I will see you and I will come and get you when it's convenient. Okay? If you have been waiting out there for more than 10 minutes, there's one of two reasons. Reason number one, I didn't see you. That's probably the reason. Okay? I got going on something and I just didn't notice. Reason number two, you're always late and I just don't care anymore. Okay? If you're always late, okay, I will probably ignore the fact that you are again late. Okay? In that case, start being on time. Okay, everybody good? All right. So the resources available to you, okay? Hopefully everybody got the join email yesterday. Okay, I sent those out yesterday. So if you were registered for the class as of yesterday, you should have got an email for the class. And hopefully everyone has joined the class, because everything you need is in the Google Classroom. Okay, if you have not, it's going to look like this. Okay, so make sure you have all of that stuff there available, okay, and ready to go, okay, for you on either your phone, paper, tablet, laptop, whatever. Okay, so yours will just say whatever your name is instead of student Coder. Okay, make sure you have those. All right, and as I said, I record every lesson. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay, I post them to my YouTube channel that you will never have to go to. Okay, you don't have to go there and subscribe or do anything like that. I'm not making a cent off of that channel. Okay, I can't monetize it for ethical reasons, and even if I did, I'd probably only make 13 cents. Okay, so it's not like you're doing me any favors. Just use the link from Google Classroom and that'll be fine. Okay, so make sure that you always check Google Classroom. If you're gone, okay, the worst thing you can do is come back after being gone for 10 days and say, hey, Mr. Coder, what did I miss? I will look at you and I will do this a lot. Okay? If you come back after being gone for that long and you don't know what you missed, you're in real trouble. Okay? You're going to really have a lot of work ahead of you. Okay? So we definitely don't want to do that. Okay, classroom behavioral stuff. Okay, big thing is respect. I will always treat you with respect. I will never single you out in front of the rest of the class. I will never make fun of you, okay, or anything like that. And I expect you to do the same for your classmates. Okay, this is a place where everyone should feel included, respected, and welcome and safe. Okay, so please make sure that everyone feels that way, okay, and treat everyone with respect. If I say listen up, that means I want your full and undivided attention. That means both ears don't have earbuds in them, okay? And your eyes are front, okay, on me. Because it could be, listen up, here's what we're doing today. Listen up, we're reviewing this stuff. Listen up, there's a mistake on the key. Listen up, the room is on fire, we have to go now. Okay, whatever it is, I need your full and undivided attention when I say it. Okay? Work. Okay, there's two kinds of work in this class. There's the kind that I don't check, because I don't do homework checks, okay? And there's the kind that you hand in for marks, okay? So the kind that I don't check is we're working on a worksheet, we're doing some projectile motion problems, we'll say, okay? And there's 12 questions on the worksheet, and you get done 6 of them in class, okay? Would it be a good idea for you to do a few more at home? Okay, not necessarily all of them, but definitely do a few more, okay? That's the kind of work I'm not checking, but that's the kind of work that helps you do well in class. Okay? If you do all of the problems, you have that much more experience when it comes to writing a test or a quiz, okay, or something like that. Okay, so that stuff's not getting checked. I'm never going to look in your digital workbook to see if you did a problem. Okay. The work that gets handed in, most of that is going to be handed in on Google Classroom. There are a few assignments that will actually be pen and paper, okay, that you will hand in to me the old-fashioned way, okay, on pen and paper. But there's maybe about 5 or 6 of those. Okay, the rest will be lab reports and things like that that come into Google Classroom. Okay. All right. This one here, okay, the whole not getting 50% thing. Okay, so that you know, there are no rewrites. Okay, so you don't get to gamble and go, yeah, I'll just take a chance. I know this because I'll get a rewrite later. No, you won't. Okay, if you do the work that's assigned in class, you do your labs, assignments, projects. Okay, you study for your quizzes. You shouldn't have to worry about how you do on an exam. You'll be well prepared. You'll know this stuff. Okay, but sometimes stuff happens. If that happens, there's a safety net. It's not rewrites. Okay, but there's a safety net of sorts, and that is that you can come in and see me after the test, and I'll have something that you can work on that I'll want to see when you're done, so that we can go through it together and make sure you understood everything. Okay, so that you don't make the same mistakes on the final. Okay, so there's like a safety net of sorts there. Okay, but I can't remember the last time I really had anyone have to use that if they were well prepared. Okay. All right. Fairness versus equality. Okay. Being fair and treating everyone equally are two very different things. Okay. So I try to be fair because that's more important. Okay. So I try to treat everyone on a case-by-case basis. Everybody comes from a different place. Everybody comes here with different stresses. Okay. Everybody comes here with different situations. Different levels of anxiety, all those kinds of things. So I try and treat everyone according to how I think that person should be treated, and that is respectfully and fairly. Okay, that's going to mean though that sometimes somebody gets something somebody else doesn't. Okay, and that's me doing my best to be fair. Okay, if you took my Science 10 class, you're going to have heard this story before. Okay. But about 12, 13 years ago, when we still handed in everything on paper, okay, I had some kids come up and they were handing all their stuff in, and there were 2 people at the end of the line who didn't have their work done. Okay, first one was Owen. Owen will be late for his own funeral, I'm sure. Okay, the guy never got anything done on time, ever. Okay, like I swear, not once. Okay, and this was like the 7th or 8th thing that we handed in that semester. Right, and he comes up. Again, Owen? Again? You don't have it done? No, I was going to work on it last night. I had it all laid out. I was ready to go. And the season finale of my favorite show was on. And it actually wasn't very good. And I fell asleep. And I didn't wake up till this morning. And it's not done. To Owen's credit, dude was always brutally honest with me. Never tried to snow me on why he didn't have stuff done. He told me straight up. It was always, that's totally my fault, Coder. I just didn't. Okay? So to his credit, he was nice and honest. Okay? So I'm like, all right, I still need it. You got to still hand it in, but you're going to take late marks because this is ridiculous. Okay, and off he went. Okay, the girl behind him always handed in everything on time. Okay, worked really hard, studied really hard, was always prepared, but she looked like she was going to throw up all over me. Okay, she was literally green. Okay, and I'm like, what's going on? Are you okay? No. You don't have your work done. No, I'm sorry. I had a couple of things left, and I was just going to do them last night. I know I shouldn't have left it till the last minute. But, my parents had this huge fight, and they both stormed out of the house. And it was very upsetting to my little sisters. And so I had to make dinner, and I didn't cook the chicken enough. And we all got sick, and we all spent the whole night throwing up, and I don't have my lab done. And I'm like, you came to school after all that? Like, go home, rest, get better. And when you're better, do the lab. Finish the lab up and give it to me. Hey, did I treat him equally? No. Owen never got anything done. It was all his fault. Okay? Now, to the other girl's credit, I mean, she usually had things done or always had things done, but she did leave it to the last minute. But there were kind of extenuating circumstances that were fairly troubling for her. Okay? So I thought I treated them fairly. All right? So here's the deal. If you ever think I haven't been fair, okay, you can come and talk to me about it. Okay? If in the end I agree with you and I haven't been fair, I'll own it and I'll apologize and I'll make it right. Okay? But I will always do my best to treat everybody fairly. Okay. All right, 3.5 here, accountability. Okay, so high school is the start of real life. Okay, so timelines, time management, deadlines, due dates. Okay, all of that stuff is part of your reality, and you need to make sure that you are keeping them in mind and planning for them. Okay, I give lots of time for assignments to get done. Okay, I will promise you that the shortest turnaround you will ever get for when something is assigned and for when it is due is 2 school days. And I honestly can't remember the last time I made it that short. Okay, it's usually like 3 or 4, and if it's 3 or 4, there's probably a weekend in there, okay, that stretches it out to 5 or 6. Okay, so your shortest situation would be, if we did a lab on Monday, the shortest means it would be due Thursday. And because you have Tuesday, Wednesday as your 2 school days. Not that you're going to get class time to work on it, but that's how long I would give you in the shortest turnaround. Okay? Probably I would make it do like a Friday or maybe a Monday. Okay? You get lots of time to get things done, so you got to manage your time. You got a part-time job, you're playing sports, both. Okay? You got to really manage your time so you're getting things done. Okay? All right, questions so far? Okay. All right, so your assessment and your evaluation, okay, so this has to do with your marks. The first thing is I'm not going to discuss your mark with you in class. Okay, don't come up to my desk when there's 30 other people in here and say, Mr. Coderre, this mark is terrible and you should give me a better mark. Because I'm going to say, sit down, that's it. I don't want to hear you anymore. Okay, you can't be confrontational. And I can't talk to you about your mark in front of everybody else, legally speaking. Okay, but if you come to me after class and you're like, Mr. Coderre, I worked really hard on this and I don't understand why I got such a bad mark, okay, then I'll go through it with you. I mean, I'll have gone through it with you in class already, but if you still have questions, come and see me. That's no problem, okay? Your marks will be distributed according to the syllabus, so we'll talk about those in a minute. Okay, assignments and labs have to be handed in on time, and on time for something on Google Classroom is 8:30 a.m. on the due date. Something that's pen and paper, start a class on the due date. Okay, so there's differences there. If you're handing it in on pen and paper, I'll want it right away at the start of class. Okay, if it's a lab report, something on Google Classroom, it's 8:30 in the morning. Okay, and that'll be on the Google Classroom assignment. It'll say due at 8:30. Okay. That is the only time things are accepted for full marks. Okay, if they're late, then you lose marks and you lose 30%. Okay, I'm not at 5% per day because then I got to keep track of how many days late it is, and I'm just not into that. Okay, so it's right away 30%. Here's why. You will always get your work back from me the next day, sometimes faster. Okay, ask anyone who's taken my class. Everybody gets everything back the next day. Okay? In 1/4 of a century of teaching, 25 years, I have failed to do that once. Okay? It was the day my second son was born. Okay? I stand by my decision to hold my wife's hand while she gave birth to our son. Okay? Instead of sitting there with a laptop marking labs. Okay? That was the right decision. Okay? I stand by that decision, and it took me an extra day to get the labs marked. Okay? That's the only time that has ever happened. Okay? So you will get your stuff back the next day. All right? And that next day, we will go over it in its entirety. Okay? Because I think everything you hand in to me should also be a learning opportunity. Okay? If you have it done on time, you deserve to have it reviewed while you still remember what you did. Okay? If it took 2 weeks for me to get something back to you, you don't remember a thing about that by then. Okay? So we will go over it the very next day. That means it's not fair if you just sit there and write down all the answers and go, hey, Mr. Coderre, look how smart I am. Okay? No. Okay? That's why there's such a heavy late penalty. Get it done on time. Okay? All right. Quizzes. It's not every Friday. Yours says the right stuff. Sorry, I changed this after. So yours says every Tuesday, every Thursday. That is the truth. Okay. Every Tuesday and every Thursday, okay, you will have a quiz. It'll be on the last 2 to 4 classes, and I will post a practice quiz the night before, including, if appropriate, a solutions video. Okay. The idea is you take 10, 15 minutes, okay, to do the quiz, check and see if you got the answers right, okay, and you're ready to go for the real quiz the next day. I won't lie to you. Once in a while, it's actually the same quiz. And that happens sometimes because I mess up or I'm just lazy. Okay? But usually it's very similar to the questions you did the night before. Okay? That's kind of the homework check for me. You did your practice quiz, you came in the next day, you wrote a quiz that was very, very similar, and you do good on it. Okay? Everybody good with that? So that's how the quizzes will work. They're short. Okay? We're talking, yeah, really a 10 to 15 minute quiz is really all it should take. Okay? Every Tuesday, every Thursday. All right, use of AI. I think last semester I got my first lab report done with AI. The person did not tell the AI enough to get a good mark. See, that's the thing with AI. You have to tell it quite a bit of stuff before it's going to do something right for you. This person obviously did not tell it enough because the answers did not make any sense, okay? But they were obviously also not made by that student. So here's the thing with AI, okay? The point of this course is to have you add to and develop your own intelligence, okay? While AI can be useful, it should not be used to do your learning for you. That makes it smarter, not you. And you don't need to make our future machine overlords smarter, okay, than they need to be. All right, so using AI on assignments and or labs is considered plagiarism/cheating, okay, and you'll receive a 0 if it happens, okay. In addition, on an exam, you will not have access to your phone or any other electronic device on which you could communicate with an artificial intelligence. So you'd kind of be screwed. Okay? If it's been doing all your work for you all semester long, the final exam is going to prove very difficult for your intelligence. Okay? So make sure you develop your own intelligence throughout the semester. Okay? Everybody clear on that? Never thought 25 years ago I'd ever have to include something about artificial intelligence on my syllabus. The times are a-changing, man. Okay. All right, the course syllabus. So there are 4 units in this course. Okay. Unit 1 is kinematics. You'll find actually quite a bit of the stuff in kinematics will feel familiar. Okay. We start out with scalars and vectors, which you learned in Science 10. Okay. You will do V equals D over T. We'll do position versus time and velocity versus time graphs, same as Science 10. We will do some acceleration stuff, okay? Similar to Science 10, but we build on it. And then we build on scalars and vectors to vector addition, okay? To be completely forthright with you, vector addition involves significant amounts of trigonometry. Okay? If trigonometry is triggering for you, okay? If it was something you did not do well on and don't like, I gotta tell you, half the course depends on it. First 2 units are quite trig intensive. It's all the same trig, but it's trig. Okay, so if that was something that you didn't enjoy, okay, I'm just being honest with you on day 1, there's a lot of it in unit 1 and 2. Okay. And then at the end, we talk about projectile motion, okay, so any object flying through the air, okay, we talk about those. That unit will take us to probably about 2nd week of March or so. Okay, so probably somewhere in there, because we get a week off here in February. Okay. Second unit is dynamics. A lot of the stuff in that is going to be new. Newton's first, second, and third laws comprise the first half to 2/3 of the unit. Okay? And then we talk about work energy theorem, which is something you did do in Science 10, but we build on it. Okay? And then we talk about conservation of energy, exactly the same as you did in Science 10. So the roller coaster questions, like you would have learned how to do in Science 10, that's the last thing in the unit. Okay, that unit takes about as long as the kinematics unit. If we have that done by Easter, we were really doing well. Okay, probably be after Easter before we finish that. Okay, might be closer to the end of April probably. Okay, and then circular motion and gravitation, shortest unit, generally easiest unit, takes about 3 weeks. Okay, so usually we finish that one up around May long weekend, somewhere in there. Okay, in that unit we talk about how circular motion occurs. We talk about banked curves, unbanked curves, artificial gravity. We talk about celestial motion, satellite motion, universal gravitation, gravitational field strength, things like that. But like I say, it sounds like a lot, but it's actually a pretty quick unit. Right, and the last unit is simple harmonic motion and mechanical waves. Okay, it takes about 4 weeks. So, if we finish May long Unit 3, we're, crowding up against exams, okay, end of June for this one. All right, so we talked about simple harmonic motion, like a pendulum, a mass on a spring, Hooke's law. We do a little bit more conservation of energy stuff, but with elastic energy instead of gravitational. And then we move on to waves. We talk about the properties of waves, the types of waves. We look at standing waves, sound waves, how musical instruments work, okay, things like that, and the Doppler effect to finish everything up. Okay. All right, so that is what is going to be in the course. Okay, and sorry, that Mark's distribution is not right because I just did some changes on that. So yours says, sorry, can I just leave it there? So yours says exams are 45%. Yes, okay, unit exams. There's 4 exams, okay, they're worth 45% of your final mark. Labs, assignments, and projects are 20%, so that's your class work, okay, 20% of your final mark. Your quizzes are 10%, okay, and your final exam is 25% of your final mark. Okay, now, for your quizzes, how many did I say you were going to get per week? 2. Okay, if you're doing 2 quizzes a week on average, and they're only worth 10% of your final mark, how much is every quiz worth? Very little, okay, is the answer. I don't know what the actual number is, okay, but very little is the answer, okay? So does that mean if you do bad on one quiz that it's the end of the world and you're never getting into university and your life is over? Not at all, okay? You do poorly on one quiz, you do poorly on 5 quizzes. It's not the end of the world. They're not worth very much. The quizzes are not meant to assess you, okay? They're meant to give you an idea of where you are on a given topic. Okay, so if we do a projectile motion quiz near the end of the unit and you get 12 out of 12 on it, you know how to do projectile motion. That's what that tells you. Okay, if everybody in the class gets 8 out of 12 or better, I know, good, we're done with projectile motion, let's move on. Okay, that's what the quizzes are for. They give you an idea of where you're at and what things you need to work on, and they tell me when we're ready to move on. Okay, so they're not meant to greatly contribute to your final grade. Okay, that's what exams and assignments are for. Okay. All right, so other things that people ask. Can I listen to music in here? Yes, conditionally. Okay, if we're doing some seat work, practice problems, things like that, absolutely yes, you can have your earbuds in and you can listen to music while you're doing that. Okay, if I'm up at the front doing what I'm doing right now, then both ears are free of the earbuds. Okay, that's the condition. Can I have food or drink in here? Absolutely yes, you can. Okay, you can have water or coffee or tea or juice or whatever, okay? And if you need a snack, that's fine, that's totally fine. If you make a mess, you clean it up, okay? That's the only condition on that, okay? Closest bathrooms are obviously right outside the door, so if you need to go to the washroom, please use the closest ones, okay? If you need to take a walk, if you need to regulate, okay? If something triggers you and you just get really anxious, okay? Then just kind of give me one of these. Okay, point at the door, you're good, okay? You don't have to make a big deal out of it. You don't have to go, Mr. Blair, I'm feeling really anxious, can I leave? You don't have to do that, okay? You don't have to expose yourself to that, okay? You can just give me the nod, okay, and I'll let you go. I understand how that feels, okay? I deal with it myself, so I totally get it, okay? If you need to go and regulate, go and regulate. I'm not gonna make you sit in here and shake, okay? That's not cool. All right, if you end up going to see Jen or PJ, okay, just have them email me so I know where you are. Because if you've been gone for a long time for that reason, I'm going to worry about you. Okay, so if that happens, just let them know so they can send me a quick email and I know you're okay. All right. All right, what do you need for this course? Okay, here's what you need for this course. All the stuff on Google Classroom, notes, packages, worksheet booklets. There's no textbook. Okay, that is your textbook. You will need pencils, pens, paper, okay? And you will need, at the bare minimum, a scientific calculator, right? If you have the TI, whatever number we're on, okay, for math, that's great, okay? That works out awesome. That's a great calculator. It's a great machine, but it's also a great deal of money, okay? If you're not wanting to drop, $200 on one of those, one of these will get the job done. Okay, you can get these at like Walmart for like $12, I think. Okay, I got it for $8 at the back to school sale. Right, so it's super cheap. Okay, but they'll do the job. Okay, you don't have to, break the bank to get one. Do you need your calculator every day? Yep, bring it every day. You're probably gonna need it every day, okay? So make sure you have it. A lot of people say, well, I just put that app on my phone. Well, that's great, provided the Wi-Fi is working and you're not writing a quiz or a test where you're not allowed to have your phone, okay? You actually do need a physical separate calculator, okay? There is a formula sheet. I will get you guys copies of the formula sheet here in the next couple of days, probably have them ready for you by Monday, okay? That you don't want to lose, okay? If you do, you'll have to print yourself another one, okay? They'll be on Google Classroom. I would say print one and put it in one of those transparent page protector things, okay? Because you're going to use it every day. It would just get all beat up if you don't, okay? Physics is fairly math intensive, okay? Just to be perfectly honest with everybody, okay? You are going to do algebra pretty much every day, okay? You're not going to do, you know, huge math, okay? Like, quite frankly, the stuff you did in Math 10 is considerably harder than anything you'll have to do in this class, okay? But you are going to have to be able to manipulate equations and solve for specified variables, and you are going to have to do that daily, okay? If that's something that's hard for you, okay, then maybe physics isn't quite a good fit, okay? And I just want to say that on the first day, okay, so that you got time to think about it, okay? I'm not trying to scare anybody off, but I also don't want anyone to feel like they're getting beat over the head with a brick every day, okay? Just, you know, I want you to know what you're in for in this class, and that is a lot of algebra, some trigonometry, okay, things like that. I'm sure everybody can handle it, but I'm just letting you know on the first day, okay? It's all stuff you've done before. I think that's fire exits. That's important, I almost forgot that. Okay, so our primary fire exit is actually out the wing over here, so where those green benches and tables are, just over here by the stairwell, okay? That door by the vending machines is our primary fire exit. So we'll take a left out this door, a right at the stairs, and go to that door, and then we go to the football field. Okay, that's our primary fire exit. Our secondary fire exit are actually the main front doors of the school by the office. Okay, so if that exit is blocked, we will go to the front doors, okay, and go out the front doors to the front parking lot. Okay. If both of those are blocked, our tertiary fire exit is out the end of the science wing, down the stairs and out to the football field. Okay? If all of those are blocked, I will take a desk and throw it through the window. And we will escape that way. I get to throw the desk. Okay? All right. I think that's it. Any questions from you guys? All right, so hang on to that sheet. Okay? I'll give you about a 5-minute break here, check your snaps, see if there's anything you got to answer, anything super important that happened in the last 20 minutes, okay? And then we're going to move on to lesson 1. Yes, okay, so that break, guys, just so you know, is within the classroom. I don't let people leave unless they're going to the bathroom, okay?